Welcome to another edition of Biro Sports Talk. I'm your host, Biro, and as always, we're sponsored by Evo Retro. All your gaming needs, all your accessories, all your merch. You know, they got everything from game protectors, trading card protectors, sleeves. Uh, I just don't understand why this keeps happening. Ay, ay, ay. Ay, ay, ay. Alright. So, as always, I'm your host, Biro. I don't know when that just cut out during the Evo Retro promo, but we're now just having a random microphone that's just for looks. Using the microphone, of course, from the laptop. Because, it's always fun. It's always dandy. And if you ever have any questions, you got virosportstalk@gmail.com. And, of course, we're on all platforms. Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Instagrams, usually. Same stuff as Facebook. And, oh man, the shadows here, man. Don't show that. Anyways, so this week we are talking about the NFC and AFC South. Next week will be, of course, the North. I know a lot of people in this area are looking forward to that. We're going to leave that up. Yeah, that's fine. Because, in this area we're more the North anyways. We got a lot of Pittsburgh, we got a lot of Cleveland, we got a lot of Cincinnati fans. This week, though, we do talk about the South, though, where the Colts are for the AFC. But of course, the North of the NFC is what I care about. So moving right along, let's talk about it. So we're going to start, like always, on the other side. Oh man, we're going to test something real quick, just real quick. Don't know why that's still. I don't know why. Why that keeps going away. It's like I could pull it up. Nothing's there. All right. Does it? I need to make sure it just doesn't see it. Right? Yeah, it doesn't see it. Okay. Good. It's all a cable anyways. Ay, ay, ay. This is why I have other things. I think something's wrong with the port itself. We're just gonna close that. All right. So back to what we were talking about. The AFC, NFC South. Ugh. It's just so many things, man. So many things. So ESPN, because that's what we do. What we like to do is just pull everything up from last year, how it ended this year. I do see a lot of changes though, since we're starting with the AFC South. gonna pull that up real quick. There we go. And it's the preseason anyway, starting tonight. So, fun times. So, standings of the AFC South last year, you got the Titans, you got the Colts, you got the Texans, and you got the Jaguars. I mean, I don't see much. I see some change here, but nothing crazy drastic, you know? But enough. So, last year the Titans were 12-5, Colts were 9-8, just missed the playoffs thanks to Jacksonville. The Texans were 4-13, Jacksonville was 3-14. What do I think happens? So, this year I don't see the Titans basically balling out for 12-5. I think they could be like a 10-7. But I think the Colts are the team to watch this year. I think the Colts will get that 11-6, or just one up the Titans to make playoffs. For sure, Titans, if anything, are a wild card. That's a good question. You look at these teams, and you look at how they'll finish. Like, we're going to pull these teams up because that's what you do. Looking at the Tennessee Titans and the Colts. Colts with the big splash of Matt Ryan. Titans losing their best receiver. But you look at the Titans, they got a rough one to play the Colts early, though. So that might be a benefit. But at the same time, I mean, the Colts, they got a rough schedule as well. I'm going to say you're looking at two teams. They're rough schedules, but how rough? I mean, you're talking two teams that should, should struggle a little, but they're not. They're just going to be kind of right there for playoffs. I'm actually, what am I? Okay, I can leave one. There we go. We'll just need the one anyways. So last year, the Titans beat the Colts both games. Touchdown and 3 points in overtime. But looking at this, close game, 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 close, 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 close. So you got 8-3 and 7 or less points. 8-4 if you count the loss to the Bengals. So I mean, interesting. Most of their losses were pretty much that. They've had two blowouts where it was New England and Arizona just balling out. But they have a hard time hitting that 30 mark. It's very evident that that 30 mark is going to be hard for the Titans. You look at the Colts, though, how they dealt with last year. I mean, close loss, close loss, close loss, close loss. Oh, man. A win, a loss, a win, a loss. They were 2-6, is what I'm getting for 1 point games, or one touchdown at least games. They could score with Carson Wentz. Don't get me wrong. The defense needed to pick it up, really. Defense pick it up. Offense getting some touchdowns. You get Taylor going, though. Like, once Taylor was going, Taylor hits 100, they're winning. Taylor doesn't get 100, they lost. Which is disappointing because, I mean, Jonathan Taylor's a very good player. He should be doing well. And now that you got Matt Ryan, I think they'll exceed expectations. They got 2 away games, but they're against the lower half of the division, so I could see a win and a win. Depending how that benefits them for a home game against Kansas City, they could end up going 4-0 this first stretch of 4. Um, Same thing could be said about any team, though. With the right things in place, they could win. Looking at the Texans, though, bouncing back from another terrible year. Jaguars, same thing, terrible year. But I'm looking at all this. Jaguars, I could see getting a couple games here and there. I can see maybe 5, maybe. Ooh. Texans are about the same, though. I mean, they're both questionable for that. But the Titans, though, man, you look at the Titans, they got a rough schedule. This division is going to be on the lower echelon of the league. So, like, the Titans being 12-5 last year, I think it's a fluke. I mean, they were too good in close games. Colts really bad in close games, but with Matt Ryan, that should balance out more. Take those close games, add Matt Ryan, say we split those, or the Colts split those. I'm not a Colts fan. The Colts, I mean, they would be that 12-5. It's just how it is. Just looking at some things. But yeah, I mean, sorry, just keep looking at stuff. But yeah, like I said, Colts very well positioned to move forward. I do think the Titans are 2. I think they're still good enough to be 2. I have the Jaguars 3. I do think they win a game more than the Texans, and the Texans, of course, are last. I just think there's a lot more to build on there in Houston. And again, we'll get these records out. We might see some movement due to the predictions, but from here, right now, Colts, Titans, Jaguars, Texans. In the NFC, I mean, the NFC South still pretty much set in stone. I mean, that's the best I can describe it. First, I'm going to fix this because I have the AFC on the wrong side. There we go. Now, obviously, the easy answer is Buccaneers 1. I do think the Buccaneers are 1. I do think the Saints are 2 right now. Panthers are a close 3. I have Falcons last. The 2 I think could switch would be the Panthers and Saints, and that's saying something. Like, right now I'm saying Saints over the Panthers, but we're going to dive into their schedules here just to take a closer look. Full schedules, let's pull those up because, you know, that's what matters. I mean, Tampa Bay was 13-4 last year. I think they were. I think it was the 2 seed, right? Or was they? Yes, they were the 2 seed because the Packers were the 1 seed. Sorry. So looking at Tampa Bay first, because we know we're already predicting them to win. We'll go close games because, you know, that's a stat everyone's curious about. There's a win, a win, a win. That's math. Nope, that's a little over, a little over. Win, win, win. They were 6-0 in touchdowns or less. All their losses were 9, 10, 9, 10. And I guess they had 1 loss in the playoffs to the Rams. So, what did I say? 1, 2, 3. I think I said 6, 4, 5. I have 5. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, it was 6 and 1. 1 being the playoffs. Happens. Brady did phenomenal. Rushing game, though, is just... Fournette will get 100 yards, but other than that, I didn't see really anyone step up for rushing. Sure, Fournette wasn't the main guy all the time, but when you wanted the yards, he was the guy who got them. You look at the Saints, though. Saints were a team on the outside looking in. Yeah, we're looking at everybody's 2021 because there's a lot to dissect here in this NFC South. So in the Saints, though, the biggest issue for the Saints was this 0-6, 0-5 stretch. It was only 5 games. I keep seeing the middle one twice. So here's how it played out. They were close games. They had a loss. They had a win. That's 9. There's a loss. There's a loss. 8? Nah, we won't count 8. But 1 and 3 in close games. The one win was against Seattle, but could have beat the Giants. That's a gimme they should have had. Got destroyed by Carolina. Lost to Atlanta close. Lost to Tennessee close. Got revenge for Carolina. Got revenge for Atlanta. Beat the Bucks both times. Bucks losing to the Saints twice. It's a thing. And then we look at Atlanta. We might as well look at everybody before we dissect their current year. So, I mean, the Saints, terrible win-loss for close games. Tampa Bay, great. Tom Brady gives you that. The Falcons, though. Ooh. Falcons, there's a win. There's a loss. A win. A win. A loss. A win. Another win. That's technically 8, so no. There's 6. 6 and 2 in close games. It's just they get blown out a lot. A lot. There's a 25 to nothing, a 43 to 3. That's a lot. But the main reason why they won those games is gone. Matt Ryan is gone. Now you got Marcus Mariota, who can be decent, but is he... So, like, when you think Matt Ryan's always a surprisingly good player. He's, like, maybe easy top 15. Easy. I don't know if I would put him 10, but I think he could be top 10. But, again, let's focus last year. So, Panthers, rough year. I mean, McCaffrey got hurt. Hubbard was a great surprise. Let's see how their win-losses and close games went. I mean, there's a win. That's an 8, so we don't count it. There's a loss, a win, a loss, a loss. 2 and 4. I mean, that's about average. Probably want to be more 3 and 3, but even going 3 and 3, that doesn't fix their terrible 5 and 12. It makes them 6 and 11. Their issue was getting offense going because they had a game where 3, a game with 6, a game with 10, another 6, another 10. They could get the passing yards-ish. Something wasn't right. So let's look at this year. So, of course, Buccaneers think they're going to win the division. It's going to be rough. Let's be honest. I mean, Dallas, Green Bay, Kansas City, Pitt, Baltimore, Rams, Browns with Watson, if he's there. We'll talk about that here shortly, too. 49ers, I mean, they got a rough schedule. The Saints, equally rough. Very rough schedule. Falcons, again, very rough. They get the Bears, though. But I think the Bears will win that one. And Carolina, they get Detroit. Ooh. But they got a kind of rough schedule. That's why I think they're still third. They got some decent. They get Cleveland without Watson. But we'll see. So, like I said, I think it will be Bucks, Saints, Panthers, Falcons. I think Panthers are going to be closer to like 8 and 9. That range. I think the Saints are kind of still 9 and 8. I don't think they really did much to convince me otherwise. They do have a lot of receiver talent where they could do better. But that quarterback situation, I mean, you have Winston, you have Andy Dalton as a backup, and Ian Book. I'm just not impressed. Like, yeah, you got Michael Thomas, you got Jarvis Landry, you got Chris Olave. You can throw the ball to anybody. But Winston can be bad and Winston can be good. So, depending which one you get will depend on the outcome. But I do, like I said, I see Bucks first, Saints second, Panthers third, Falcons fourth. And we'll go, again, deeper into all this. I do think the Panthers make a leap from 5 and 12. I do think they can be good. I do. I think right now Baker's considered the one, which I think he should, because Darnold, if you thought Newton was better than Darnold, you need Mayfield to show what he has. Good receivers, McCaffrey, decent defense. I think they could turn it around. They could be the team I see going like worst to second or third. Well, I predict third, but I think they are more likely to go worst to second than anyone else. All right. The news around the world. Let's start with NFL because that's everyone's talking about. Deshaun Watson was assigned a 6-game suspension. The NFL appealed it because they wanted harsher penalties. Now, former New Jersey Attorney General Peter C. Harvey has been selected to hear the appeal. I mean, my issue with it is I feel like they're just going to keep stringing it and stringing it out. I just don't know how I feel about it. I think he deserved a harsher penalty. I think 6 games is light. I mean, you just suspended Calvin Ridley for betting for a whole season. And betting is legal. Assault is not. I mean, he settled. But even then, I question a lot of that. I don't think they should have settled. I think they should have taken it to him pretty much. obviously he has a history, he has a past with bad decisions with female masseuses. I don't think he's. I'm glad the Bears didn't get him at this point because there was a lot of talk of him moving there. Still surprised the Browns went all in on him. That baffles me still. But again, to each their own. I just am not. I don't see him playing much this year. 6 games or more. Another big news for the NFL. Lawyers for Brian Flores, others may not gather more evidence. Yada, yada, yada. Pretty much that judge shortens road for Flores arbitration ruling, meaning pretty much I think it's interesting to see how that plays out as well. I do think it's wrong that he was fired by the Dolphins because he was doing so well for the Dolphins. He really was. And it shows because they fined the Dolphins a first round pick for next year, fines Stephen Ross $1.5 million. Oh, sorry. They also, I think, there was another draft pick. It was like a 6 rounder though, something late. Forfeit their 2024 third. That's what it was. It was a third. So something a little high and worth it. So yeah, that's tons of penalties for something that should have, but yet nothing for firing Flores. They believe that it was all just. I'm sorry. I just have a hard time believing that was just. Because if I look, I don't know when Flores was the coach. That would probably help. Yep. I know you're the Steelers coach, but I'm trying to find out the obvious answer. Nope. Just gonna open. Nope. They're just gonna cause a pain. Yep. There we go. There we go. And he was a coach from the 2019 season to 2021 season. Okay. I went back one too many years. My bad. So in 2019, they were 5-11. Okay. 2020, 10-6. Just missed playoffs. 2021, 9-8. Sure, they probably should have been 10-7 or something like that, but 9-8's not bad. The division got really tough last year, but I don't think that's fireable offense still. Yeah, and a lot of people thought he overachieved with the players he had, and he was 24-25 overall. 2 winning seasons. And of course, the 5-11 season, where a lot of people are saying they tried to tank, but Flores was against it. So much rumors, so much speculation. Brittany Grimer, though, sentenced to 9 years in Russian prison. I mean, still interesting, still think it's ridiculous. Did she break the law? Yes, she did. It's a thing. She broke the law. Okay, apparently the defense lawyers said they would appeal. The defense team said that in sentencing, the court had ignored all evidence. Okay. Yep, and I get it. Yeah, but I mean, it's a whole sticky situation. I mean, the truth still lies. If it was a different athlete, say LeBron James, someone bigger, of course we're gonna full fledged go after. Brittany Griner though deserves this media attention. She deserves the high profile of it. She's a good player and she deserves, but at the same time she broke their laws willingly or not. I mean, she still did it. Do I think she deserves 9 years though for it? Probably not, but it is. I mean, we'll know more details as it keeps going along. They'll string it out. I know there's a deal going on in the background, and we're all just here, pretty much. What does that leave us, though? What does it leave? Not much. I mean, we're to a point where if you have questions, you can email byronsportstalk@gmail.com. If you're on any social media platform, you've probably seen us on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Instagram as well. And let's not forget, there is technically a LinkedIn page. If we get up to 100, I can also put the stream on there directly. I know, it'd be fantastic. So what's with the glasses this week? Eyes have been tired, let's be honest. Obviously I can see like this. It's just, my one eye, my one eye is really bad. And sometimes I just gotta wear the glasses. Sometimes. Put on the glasses. So, I do appreciate anyone who's stopped by, whether it's now or later. I do appreciate it. And as always, don't forget, Evo Retro, appreciate all the support. If you haven't checked out Evo Retro, there is a link in the bio or description. Give it a look. And I will see you guys next Thursday. We talk about the NFC, AFC North, followed by our final predictions the week after. I know, it's very exciting. And I'll see you guys then. As always, though, this is Biro for Biro Sports Talk, 5 years and counting. I will see you guys next time.